Cooperation matters between offices inside the UK government, or any government for that matter. So this headline is a little bit worrying. Rows brews between the Home Office and the Foreign Office on the eve of the UN Refugee Summit. I'm going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from The Guardian with the headline, "There are rows brewing between the Home Office and the Foreign Office on the eve of the UN Refugee Summit. Furlough over the controversial Rwanda scheme labelled far from helpful as Britain seeks to fulfil its role on the international forum." So I've spoken enough about immigration in Rwanda, but I'll just reiterate it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to take off. I think it's a waste of money, taxpayer money, and a waste of time in terms of dealing with immigration and migration. And we should not in any way, shape or form be looking to breach international laws, be breaching our rights and obligations, because it undermines everything that's democratic about our country just to try and get a few people on a plane to an unsafe country, while also at the same time taking in Rwandan refugees as well, because we will be taking in it's very important for people to understand that if you actually read the context of the law of what is going to happen, is that we will be taking Rwandans in as a result. So this is not good, and I think the main crux of this row is probably to do with the fact that we could be breaking laws here, and I think that's the thing, that's the worrying factor here. And refugees need security, they need safety, and they need to be looked after. But the problem is that there's no legal routes for people to come to the UK, and there needs to be legal routes for people to be able to come to the UK. Which is why so many people do end up turning to go on the boats. There are obviously other ways that refugees are able to come to the UK, such as hiding in trucks, coming across through Calais, perhaps stowing their way on planes somehow. But obviously the one we hear about the most is obviously them coming across on boats. On boats, and these are human beings with emotions and feelings, just like you and I, and we need to take that into account when we talk about them. So it's really important to make that distinction. So let's read into it, guys. So tensions between the Home Office and the Foreign Office are said to be strained before the largest international gathering in years on the refugee crisis, with the UK's contribution overshadowed by the row over Rwanda. Headed by the Development Minister Andrew Mitchell, the UK's delegation at this week's UN Global Refugee Forum will unveil what it describes as an ambitious package that includes delivering schooling to hundreds of thousands of refugee children. That's good. Children are the future, and we need to make sure that every child is given the best possible chance in life. Yet the UK's humanitarian reputation risks being undermined by Rishi Sunak's determination to send refugees to Rwanda, a plan at odds with the international law. On Saturday, humanitarian experts said they were aware of tensions within the UK as Sunak's government attempts to appease voters and the right wing of the Tory party while simultaneously offering support for the growing global refugee crisis. However, UN officials Arafat Jamal, coordinator of the forum, indicated that away from the infighting, the foreign Commonwealth and Development Office had put together positive measures that shapely contrasting with the Rwanda plan. From my perspective, I'm seeing a very interesting level of engagement by the UK on an international scene. Despite what might be going back home, you see a real willingness to engage on a few specific areas, in particular education. The UK is in fact leading on what we call a mega pledge on education, added Jamal. Writing for The Observer, Flamingo Gungi, head of the UN's refugee agency, criticised Western states for being more focused on talking about tough asylum than offering solutions at a time when a record 114 million people are displaced. Rather than efforts to address the root causes of displacement, we hear tough talk mainly from the wealthy and well-resourced states about turning outsiders away, making it harder to seek the right to asylum and offloading responsibility onto others, Gandhi wrote. A White House source said the furlough over Rwanda was far from helpful, so close to the forum, which begins on Wednesday in Geneva. The UK is trying to do its bit on the world stage, but the noise over Rwanda is not exactly a good look when you're delivering on the global humanitarian stage. No, it's not. This is not a good time at all for them. This is really embarrassing for our reputation. The UK's package includes 4 million to help host countries integrate refugees' children into their education system, an amount officials believe that will make a genuine difference, but one they acknowledge contrasts with fears that the full cost of the Rwandan deal might be 100 times higher at £400 million. £400 million were given to this country, and we still haven't got a flight up, guys, at the time of this record. The UK is also to announce new supports for Rwanda, Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. Apologies for the mispronunciation of that word. With almost 1 million living in overcrowding camps in Cox's Bazar, as part of a package that pledged government sources might believe be more than we've ever done before. Mitchell told The Observer that focusing on education was a UK priority, with more than half of all refugee children out of school. It marks another step in our mission to ensure all forcibly displaced children will still have access to 12 years of safe, quality education despite the most marginalised girls and those with disabilities, said Michel. He added that we know that education transforms lives, and that in sending refugees children to schools we will be able to open the door for further learning, better jobs and safer futures, while also supporting the whole communities to come together and thrive. Jamal said the message to wealthier Western nations is that they could help stabilise the refugee crisis. Being an anti-refugee is not a solution; it is an emotional reaction. There are solutions to that we are not threatening to them. Work with us, look at us in the long term, and focus on the root causes. That is absolutely right. If we help with the root causes of what is dealing with the vast majority of migration on the world stage, guys, we will have less immigration overall. We will have less migration overall. It is inevitability that migration is a key thing that we have in the world, guys. You cannot erase it, you cannot eradicate it, you will always have it. It happens. It's a natural thing in the world. But what we can do is help deal with the root causes of them, whether it is climate change, where the temperatures are becoming too high in the areas that they live in now, whether it is war-torn countries, where countries have been broken up by war, famine, or crime whatsoever. We have an obligation as Western societies to be able to help them, make a difference for them, and ensure them that they are able to have the best possible life they have. And yes, of course, this requires money. Unfortunately, everything revolves around money. However, I ask yourself this: how desperate, how determined are you to stop refugees, immigration, asylum seekers coming to the UK? How much do you want it reduced? And if your answer is I want it reduced, then that means a question I have to put to you is, are you willing to put your hand in your pocket to do so as well? Didn't think so. See, here's the thing, like, everyone has to contribute. Everyone's got to make a difference out there. And if you put yourself in their shoes, try putting yourself in their shoes out there. You know, being born into a world where you can't have clean water, you don't have a home, you don't have the comforts that you have right now, you don't have the belongings that you have right now. And some people lost their loved ones in wars or crimes that are completely out of control, and they're crossing to try and find a better life for themselves, and they're trying to come here because they believe that the UK is one of the best countries in the world, and they want to contribute to that country. And you're saying I don't want them, given what they've been through. Some of them are coming here because they have family and friends. There's lots of reasons for it. The vast majority do end up refugeeing inside the EU. There is no question about that. But we can reduce the numbers if we are willing to help these countries and these nations that are suffering. If we help them, if we build their homes, help build their schools, help build their livelihoods, and help those nations that are poor, and help them in the best possible ways we can, there will be less people coming to Europe. There will be less people going to America. There will be less people coming to the UK, because they will have a place they can call home. So what do you guys think? What do you make of this row between the Home Office and the Foreign Office? What do you guys make of some of the contributions that we're going to be making at the UN Refugee Summit? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media, and if you can, hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, which I always appreciate, you can do so by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon for extra content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.